So here we are again. Um, yeah, I was recording a video. I was thinking about recording this video, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about another band that I was in prior to, and I made mention of it in the Triple Wide video. Um, a band that I was in prior to Triple Wide, which was Neo Fusion. Um, how that band came about was I was teaching at the local music store here, Miller Music, at that time, and I came in, I came in to teach, and they said there's a guy who was just in here, left a message, got my name and my number, and left his name and number. He's a drummer. So he's looking for a bass player to play in a band. And I said, okay, cool. So I was going to call the number, but the guy came back. He actually came back, and I got to talking to him, and they said, yeah, they were had a band called the K Band. It was a Southern soul band. Well, I didn't know that much about that genre of music, really. I just heard a couple of those songs and stuff, right? But being from the Midwest, from the North, um, yeah, it wasn't in my wheelhouse. That wasn't in my wheelhouse. Um, anyway, I went to the rehearsal slash audition, I guess, and um, listen to the songs, talk to the people, and what have you. And they were actually looking for a guitar player, also a guitar player who could sing, or somebody who they asked me if I could sing. I'm like, nah, you want to hear that? But um, and I said, while I was playing in this reggae band, we played this festival, and there was a band there. It was like a family band, and it was a father and his two sons plus the uncle of the boys of the uncle who played guitar, and he was singing, and they did a lot of you know neo soul and R&B. They were really good. They were actually really good. I was like, man, these guys are killing it. Anyway, um, I remember, and so I talked to, I remember I talking to the guitar player, got his name and his number and all that stuff. You know how we do. You meet somebody, like, man, yeah, man, we'll give me jam sometime. Anyway, I remembered him. I was like, yeah, that guy. Well, that guy's name was Terry Bonner, and so I called him. Yeah, I called him, and I asked him, like, hey, look, man, these guys are looking for a guitar player. I'm getting ready to, to meet up with them. Would you could be interested in coming down and check it out? He said, yeah, sure. So he did. And we started to rehearse, and they liked what he brought to the table. They liked what I brought to the table. It was a keyboard player and a drummer. Um, and so we started rehearsing. Well, the name of that band was the K Band. So I'll just say that we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. We were the tightest band that never played a gig. I mean, this went on for like 6 months. Rehearse. Sometimes we rehearsed twice a week, and just I'm like, are we going to ever play a gig? Um, and we finally did. We finally did. There was as an artist named Lee Fields. If you guys, some of y'all know who he is, some of you don't. If you don't know him, Google him, YouTube him, whatever. You'll know. You'll see him. He's kind of a legend. Anyway, he was coming here, and he had some kind of ties to this community and stuff. So he was coming here to play at the fairground. We were the backing band for him. This was right after James Brown passed away. Um, this was right after he passed away, and so we did a James Brown tribute kind of show and what have you. This guy just nailed that stuff. Yeah, so we killed this gig, and afterwards we were getting all these requests. Like do you guys play private parties? You guys do this? Do you do that? Got gig offers, and the guy. Let me preface this by saying that this band was owned by a person. This was a band that was owned by. He had all the equipment and all this stuff, right? He paid for rehearsals and what have you, somewhat. But still, so they were like, yeah, you guys played some gigs. Well, he wouldn't take the gigs. He would not take any of the gigs. We played this one gig, and that was it. And I'm like, what are we doing here, man? And anyway, Terry came up to the house one day and he was like, man, I don't know what's going on, but you know what? And I use his saying to this day. He's like, stick a fork in me, man. I'm done. I'm like, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Well, let me back up. So we would do these rehearsals. And the keyboard player, Cat, called him Cat Daddy. He was really good, sing. And he was coming from Raleigh, I think. But anyway, he was habitually late. He would always be late, and we'd be sitting around waiting for him. And we would be waiting for him. And so to kill time, we would just be like just playing songs that we knew, all this stuff that we actually, we grew up playing, and there's a lot of funk stuff, man. We were playing, Lakeside, Ohio Players, Heat Wave, Sun, Slave. Man, that's all Ohio bands. Imagine that. Funk, Ohio bands. Just saying, Funk Hall of Fame is in Dayton, Ohio. Anyway, and I'll tell you a story about that one day. But anyway, yeah. So we were doing a lot of Prince. Cameo. It's just running the gamut of the funk bands of the time. Anyway, so here we are playing all these songs all the time. K-Band, we never played any gigs. Well, one day, the owner of the band got sick, and he got sick. He was an older guy. Well, sadly, he passed away. Passed away. So they were sitting around like, what are we going to do now? Whatever, by that time, Terry and I had already talked about, this is not going anywhere. Well, I said, like, hey, we know all these songs. We know all these songs. Why don't we just go out and start gigging ourselves, as a three-piece, drums, bass, guitar. And they were like, yeah, let's do that. And we did. We started gigging. Well, that was Neo Fusion. That's how that band came together. And we played all up and down the East Coast, man. I mean, and we had a niche. We had a thing. We're playing covers. But they were playing funk covers, and there was nobody doing that. Nobody was playing those songs. So we were playing the music that people could get out and just, dance their behinds off. And we did that for about 3 years, about a good 3 years. There were some personality issues going on, and near the end, it got to be to the point where it was not fun anymore. We made good money. We played a lot of gigs. We were getting out there, getting our name out there in the circuit. But it got to the point where it just was not fun to do that anymore. About the same time as when I met David and Steven, and we were starting to, form Triple Wide at that time. So it was kind of a perfect storm, the ending of that band and the beginning of a new band. But that's how that came about. And so I said something earlier, I think about this bass, my funk machine, as I call it. I think I had just bought this bass near the end of Neo Fusion, and it was I'd been playing my 6-string, my Sirius 6-string over there for most of the gigs and everything. But once I got this thing felt right in the pocket for all the stuff that we were doing. Let me crack this up a little bit. You can hear it. Yeah, I got this bass, man. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, that was Neo Fusion. That was the beginning of my funk playing days here in Wilson, North Carolina. And it was a blast. Terry and I are still, we still get together every once in a while and do things. There was talk at one point, about Neo Fusion possibly getting back together. That was a few years ago, and doing some shows and everything. But sadly, Joe passed away. He passed away. So that kind of, negated that thing. Anyway, but like I said, Terry and I will still occasionally do some things together. The people here who know Terry know that dude. He knows 1,000 songs, man. He knows more songs. There's only one cat that I've ever met that knows more songs than him, and he's just a close second. I'm telling you. And we'd play something like. We play something like, oh no, how's it go? I ain't gonna play any more of that. I don't want that to get shut down. But we would play that. I mean, if y'all know Rapper's Delight has 1,000 verses to that song and stuff, and Terry knew every last one of them. I'm like, dude, how do you remember all of that? There was one song though, I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know what it was. Prince's Pop Life. He could not remember how that would start. It would be hilarious to me, What's the first line? I'm like, you asking me? I just know the bass line. But once he heard it, then he was good. But I said, how do you not remember the beginning of Pop Life, but you know every last word that's in Rapper's Delight? Could never figure that out. But yeah, like I said, Terry and I still get up there, and dude, if you got to hear him do all the Marvin Gaye stuff, and that's not all he does. I mean, he knows some good stuff, and he's a good guitar player. He's a really good guitar player. I mean, an amazing guitar player, but he is the only guitar player, and I mean the only one that I've ever come across that you have to tell to turn up. Anyway, if he sees this video, he's going to say, yeah, he's going to laugh, because he knows it's true. Anyway, yeah, he's over there killing it, and he's like, dude, man, let everybody else hear that, I want to let me hear it. But that was Neo Fusion. I just wanted to tell that little tidbit about that band, and there'll be some more. I got a couple more bands to talk about, that I'm still dealing with, still loving. All right. If you notice, I'm looking down all the time because I'm looking at my meters. I'm looking at the voice meters, right, to see if the level is right, because I've been really having a time making these videos, and getting this microphone. You see, I'm eating this mic, which is what I tell people all the time. And it's like, hey, put the mic in, Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at. If I keep looking down, I need to be looking at the camera so you can see my eyes. Anyway, and with that said, I'm going to move on and go do a couple things. But I do want to say, you guys check these videos out. If you like them, man, hit the love button. Go to the YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. And share the videos. Share them. Share them off of YouTube to wherever you want, any platform that you want. It helps me, and it helps the algorithm, and it helps other people to see the video. And like I said, I'm trying to, I'm back in this game again. I'm not going to just play notes and everything. I'm going to talk about a few things because, people ask these questions, and I got stories. But anyway, do me a solid. Hit the like and subscribe and share. And you guys take care of one another. Love one another. And I'll be at you again. Peace.